Hey, good morning. It's great to be with you again. Welcome to the fourth hour of the Greg Belfrage Show. Steve, man, you hit me so hard. Steve said that faith only a mother could love. Well, thanks. Thanks a lot. That's a tough way to start right out of the gate. It's great to have you guys along. Let's get right to the update. As you know, we talked about the Donald Trump interview with Elon Musk on X. And so critics then are railing against the technical difficulties. Ex users rushed to join Trump's space. So it was Donald Trump's space that you had to join. That's where it was an audio interview between Elon Musk and Donald Trump last night. So there was a space for Trump on his X account, and it was there then that they were going to be speaking to each other. But the space immediately crashed due to the influx of users. And a lot of people who tried to get in on it received the message, this space is unavailable. So then Elon Musk at that point told users, there appears to be a massive denial of service attack on X, working to shut it down. Worst case, we will proceed with a smaller number of live listeners and post the conversation later. So that's what he said. And in response to one X user who speculated that Democrats were involved, Musk wrote, yeah. Now, whether or not that's true, I don't know whether it was Democrats, whether it could have been other agents. There's a lot of hatred out there, my friends, a lot of hatred. So then Musk later said that X was technically prepared for the interview. And Elon Musk said, we tested this system with 8 million concurrent listeners earlier today. We will proceed with the smaller number of concurrent listeners and then post the unedited audio immediately thereafter, he said. So they tested it with 8 million. Guesses are best estimates are there were 1.2 million that were part of that. So if they tested it for 8 million, you've got to believe that somebody did not want, Donald Trump to be heard. We're trying to trip up Donald Trump. And I really don't think that's hard to believe. Could be any one of a number of people. I'm not suggesting anybody in particular. But I said this on the air this morning. When you look at the number of people who do live shows on YouTube all of the time, look at people like Tucker Carlson and the number, the millions of people that he's got on, on his streams. Joe Rogan, same thing. And as well as others. It's pretty incredible to believe then that suddenly this you've got to believe it's a denial of service attack. And I said on the earlier this morning, Elon Musk is not one of those people. I don't agree with him on a number of different things, which is fine. We can all have our own thoughts and our own opinions, and without getting nasty. And I have always kind of viewed Elon Musk as that kind of person. Don't agree with him on everything, but I'm interested in his point of view. And sometimes I might go, yeah, no. And other times it's, well, that's intriguing. Maybe I still disagree, or maybe I'll think about it, One thing I've not considered Elon Musk to be is a liar. There are a lot of them out there. There are a lot of people who are looking you right in the eye, and they're lying to you on a pretty ongoing, consistent basis. So I think we've seen the liars up close and personal. We know who they are. We know how they sound. Elon Musk is not one of those people. And again, we can disagree on a number of different things, but when it comes to Elon Musk, and then again, these no-named, you're getting, there were reports from The Verge which is a tech website, The Verge, uh, very, very popular one, in fact. And they're saying, oh, they're calling crap on this, what Elon Musk is saying, but you can't confirm what they're actually saying. So you've got to I take Elon Musk at his word. There are those who don't, and that's fine. Don't want to believe him, don't believe him. I just find it interesting that who they will believe. You know what I mean? They're willing to believe a lot of people that I'm not going to believe. Um, Interesting piece of town hall this morning. How did the media feel about the Trump Musk interview? These headlines say it all. And then Greg Price has got a post on X. This has got to be the most petty and unhinged campaign email of all time. And it's even hilarious considering neither Kamala nor Tim Walz have spent more than 0 seconds doing an interview, a press conference, or any conversation. So they sent out a release and they say right now Elon Musk is interviewing Donald Trump live on Twitter. We're not calling it X. Oh boy. Yeah, that says a lot about their campaign. That's really taking the high road. Company renames itself. We're not calling it X. It's Twitter. Tell that to the number of Twitter employees who are Twitter employees who have been fired. Or what do they view it as, Twitter or X? And then it's not enough that Musk has pledged to donate millions of dollars to help reelect Trump. He's using his purchase platform, one of the largest social media sites in the world, to spread Trump's unhinged and hateful agenda to millions of users. So again, I read you a number of things. I spent good part of 15 probably minutes on the air this morning sharing what Donald Trump had said, and, hateful. Nothing I heard that was hateful. I know hateful rhetoric when I hear it because there's a powerful amount of it going on in the country right now. So it's just pretty crazy. I wanted to share more of the headlines, but that town hall piece is only for VIP users, and I'm not a VIP. I've thought about going back because there's some really good things, meaningful things at town hall. All right, let's go to Breitbart. Elon Musk to Trump. We're at a fork and I didn't not share this earlier on the air this morning because it was about a 2-hour conversation and I'm trying to boil it down to some of the essentials. So pretty tough to touch on it in the short course of the radio show this morning. But Elon Musk told Donald Trump, we're at a fork in the road of destiny of civilization, he said, and you're the right path. Wow, that's pretty incredible comment. And a lot of people are reacting to that. And this is a larger part of that comment from Elon Musk. Elon Musk said, I stood in line for 6 hours to shake Obama's hand when he was running. My track record has been moderate or slightly left. But now we're at a critical juncture for the country. Trump is the path to prosperity. Kamala is the opposite. So that's Elon Musk, and that's where he stands. And again, he went on to say, I think a lot of people thought the Biden administration would be a moderate administration, but it's not. And now keep in mind, this is a guy who voted for the Biden administration. It was going to be a moderate. And there are a lot of people who believe that Joe Biden, that was the appeal of Joe Biden. Joe Biden is going to be a moderate. He is going to govern the country as a moderate. We are going to see moderation. And is that what we have seen? basically opening the border wide open, allowing millions and millions of tens of millions of people to enter the country illegally. Is that moderation? Not in my book, or I think any objective person looking at that would say, no, that is not moderate. So Elon Musk saying, obviously, we're just going to see an even further left administration with Kamala. He said, I mean, her dad is literally a Marxist economist. You can Google it. We're not making that up. That's how she was brought up, Musk said. We want to have a future that is prosperous. And I think we're just at this critical juncture. And he said to Trump, you are the path to prosperity. And I think Kamala is the opposite. I'm just trying to tell people my honest opinion. I haven't really been active in politics before. And I'm just trying to point out that my track record historically has been moderate, if not moderate, slightly left. And he then urged other moderates to vote for Trump in November. He said, so this is to the people out there who are in the moderate camp. I think you should support Donald Trump for president. Wow. What a telling endorsement from Elon Musk last night on this. That is, I think, is that powerful? I mean, seriously, I think that's just incredibly powerful. So I talked about this morning, the Kamala Harris campaign criticizing Trump for serving self-obsessed rich guys after the interview with Elon Musk. And again, it's just nonsense coming out of the mouths of the Democrats. This is an interesting story from the New York Post. If you had to choose a small handful of websites every day that from whom you would get your news, New York Post should be one of them. There's some great reporting at the Post. There's some stuff I just immediately skip over at the New York Post as well. Cover a lot of material, and some of it is, I think nonsense and star, so and so said this, and here, who cares? I'm just, especially when the world's on fire, I'm not as interested in some of those stories as I might have been at one point in my life. Anyway, the New York Post, though, when it comes to hard reporting, I think they do some of the best hard news reporting that I've seen. Comes from the New York Post. So this was a program from the Biden administration, and it was to quickly remove families who entered the U.S. illegally. It's allowing nearly 90% of them to stay in the country. So this program was designed to remove them, get these families, remove them then. They're coming into the U.S. illegally, remove them. 90% of them are allowed to stay. Does that sound like a successful program by any measure that you would use? So this was of the 24,000 migrants who were put into the family expedited removal program, 24,000, 22,000 were allowed to stay in the U.S. Only 2,600 have been deported. Man, that's crazy. This is just absolutely crazy. And so we've got the chairman of the House Homeland Security Committee, Mark Green of Tennessee, said these numbers are further proof that the Biden-Harris administration's policies have nothing to do with actually securing the border or enforcing the law, but instead masking its utter refusal to do either of those things. And I think that's what you're seeing. What you are seeing is the Biden administration saying, implementing these programs, and this is what they're doing, and then they don't. They don't do it. So it's like the president saying, "Oh yeah, we're gonna take a tougher stance on the border," and you have Greg Abbott, the governor of Texas, saying, "We have literally seen no difference." This is since the Biden Harris administration has said they're going to do this, there literally has been zero difference. And we see this from the Democrats all the time, creating the illusion of actually doing something. And I said this on the air this morning. I'm amazed at how many people are fished in by that. I mean, seriously, creating an illusion that they're doing something while the numbers don't change, the numbers continue to grow, the numbers increase. And, well, we've got this program, we've got that program. You know what those programs are? They are nothing more. They are simply meant to as a diversion. That's all they are. Is that to create the illusion they're actually doing something when they're not. They literally are not. Pretty crazy story. You'll find that at the New York Post. Speaking of the Post, I'm going to move on. I've got more important stories. I'll put that at the end. This is from Real Clear Politics. Susan Crabtree has had some incredible reporting on the assassination attempt of Donald Trump. She's got another piece at realclearpolitics.com that is worth your time. Starts out rancor, recriminations, and serious formal misconduct complaints have plagued all levels of the Secret Service detail assigned to protect former President Donald Trump over the last year, distracting the team from its core mission of securing Trump from physical harm and preventing an assassination. Trump's regular detail team, a force of 60 employees, special agents, and support staff, has been beset by internal division, long work days and weeks, and constant stress. Last year, the team lost one of its members due to suicide. Among the allegations or accusations of improper sexual relationships or fraternization within the team, debilitating mental health issues, non merit based promotions. I think we just saw that with the new head of the Secret Service. Yeah, not a merit based promotion. Um, Conflict of interest issues. This just goes on and on. The top two leaders of Trump's detail sternly dressed down the entire 60-member staff in a virtual meeting announcing formal investigations into what they argued were serious misconduct violations, according to several sources within the Secret Service. And this goes on. It's worth the reading. It's at realclearpolitics.com, and it's a piece by Susan Crabtree. Dissension, toxicity plagued Trump's Secret Service detail before the assassination attempt. So it appears that you had people in the Secret Service who were aware of these issues prior to the assassination attempt, trying to deal with it. Some pretty significant problems there. And then there was one. This is again from the New York Post. This is an off the wall story. Airline pilots record multiple UFOs dancing in the skies. According to this piece, pilots witnessed and filmed in detail several UFOs maneuvering across the night sky. And so what you see in the photos are blurs of light, you know. I'm not trying to denigrate the pilots. I don't know what it was. Their descriptions, I think, are a lot more revealing. The pilot said described it as an extremely vivid star-like object. There was also a sudden streak seen across the sky far below it. He wondered if the aerial phenomena is a falling down, he said. It also aggressively broke off in other directions at random and with no indication of directional change, eerily similar to a UFO that had been depicted on the X Files. So the light of the UFO in front of us moves freely, sometimes forward, sometimes backward, sometimes left, right, or vice versa, he's saying on the video. So these were pilots flying from Saudi Arabia to Nigeria in a Boeing 747. They had a multi UFO encounter and filmed it. Multiple UFOs moving erratically. One pilot says they were extremely bright and moved freely as well as in formation, he said. So you can find that story if you find those intriguing, and I must admit I do. I do. I think there are a lot. I'm not saying what it was. I just what is it? What are these things? Clearly, it's something. I'm not suggesting it's these are from another extraterrestrial. I'm not suggesting any of that, but clearly it's something going on and these pilots are at the risk of their own reputation that they make these things known. So they're not going to be likely, I think, to really to present it as more than it is. And I'm going to leave it there for now. I've got a meeting coming up here in a few minutes, so I'm going to cut it a little bit short today. I want to thank you once again, as always, for being here. I did want to mention one more thing. I'm doing 2 shows on YouTube every day. I'm doing a live hour of the Greg Belfrage Show, and I'm doing this the 4th hour. And the numbers for the 4th hour are absolutely eclipsing the live radio show, the 6 a.m. hour, to the point where I am considering ending the 6 a.m. hour. And because more people are watching this, and this gives us an opportunity to interact and with each other directly, versus that 6 a.m. hour where I am really focused then on interacting with folks that are listening to the radio show, or listening, whether it's podcast or listening to the show live, whether it's via radio or the app or however that may be. So I am considering ending the 6 a.m. hour YouTube, and just to continue this each day. So yeah, and I agree with you, Steve. He says people are getting ready for the day at 6 a.m., but by now they're settled in. And I agree. I agree. And I'm seeing that in the numbers. I mean, I went back and looked at the numbers did the 2 shows yesterday, the 6 a.m. hour and the 4th hour. And the numbers for the 4th hour are, now again, when I say numbers, my numbers are very low. I mean, I'm not out there threatening Joe Rogan, for his streaming numbers. No fear of that. But you've got to start somewhere, right? And it's very clear that I'm getting more traction here on the 4th hour. So I think, I'm curious to get your thoughts. Um, yeah, well, and I agree with some of that too. Steve said the quality of the viewer, not the quantity. Um, I don't know that I would take that same approach, because one of the things, and I can tell you this, I can't say anything on the air in regard to ratings. KELO AM's doing remarkably well for a station. We are generally appealing to people who are 50 plus. I'm 35 to but generally, you're talking an older listener on KELO, and we're doing remarkably well. I mean, we're doing remarkably well, especially with men. You look at 50 plus men, KELO AM is the number one station. Now, I can't talk about that on the air. We can't mention Arbitron on the air. I can mention it here. Um, so the our numbers are really solid and growing. I think there is something to be said in the number of people that are listening. And I would agree, for the small numbers that we have now, yeah, I agree. Those of you who are here right now, these small numbers, I think maybe that's what you were referring to, Steve. The quality of those of you who are here, I very much appreciate, because those of you who are here right now, you know me and you understand me. You listen to the radio show likely, and you've come to know me that way. And maybe you've listened and now you're here. I'm really, really grateful for that. The trick for me is try to convince more of those folks who listen on the air. Now I understand that catching this video um, is going to be problematic for some. That there will be those who either are busy at this time of day and they're not going to catch it later. Some may be a little bit like me, where I get to a point in my day where and I've told you this many times, I'm done. That's it. I'm done. That's my bit for King and Country. And the rest of the day is mine. And I'm going to focus on whatever, interests me that day. Um, I think there's some of that, especially in these times right now, because they're just so, you know, and I'm one of those people that has difficulty letting go of some of that stuff to just enjoy the rest of my day, you know. But the numbers of the fourth hour clearly are doing much better than the hours of, or than the video of the 6 a.m. hour. And to be honest with you, setting that YouTube video up for the 6 a.m. hour, it's a bit of a distraction to the radio show. And I'm feeling like I could be better prepared when I crack that mic at 6:05 a.m. and go live on KELO. I feel like I could be better prepared if I'm not worrying about getting the camera just right, and you're having to set up the stream and, all of that stuff. Being able to do that once I get off the air, I come down to my office and, I'm drinking a glass of water and I'm setting everything up, and then I'm taking a quick look at what's going on in the news. So if there are updates to share with you, um, it's more relaxed than, especially that 6 a.m. hour. I'm stressed that whole 6 a.m. hour. And I was stressed for much of that hour before I started doing YouTube. So I'm just wondering if just forging ahead with the fourth hour and stopping the 6 a.m. hour. And I'm also noticing at KELO.com, because I post both of these shows then after the fact. I post them to KELO.com, and I notice on the views there that the fourth hour is doing better than the 6 a.m. hour. So I'm kind of leaning that way. So don't be surprised if in the next if sometime this week I eliminate the 6 a.m. hour and just concentrate on the fourth hour. Um, because I like this setting better. I'm a little more comfortable. I'm down in my office and I'm seeing your thoughts, and versus taking your phone calls, which I do up in the studio, but getting your reactions, it's just a little bit more of a relaxed, I think, environment. And so I appreciate you guys being here. And I appreciate that you're hitting the like button, because I see it. You guys are hitting the like button when I ask you to do that. It's making a difference. So I think what I'm off to is a consistent start. And I've been very good the last several weeks. Haven't missed, except when we had an issue with our internet service, our internet service provider. Um, that was the only day I had an issue. So I've been very consistent about being there, and boom, So we'll keep it going and see how it goes from there. I'm going to leave it there for now. And again, just my thanks to you guys because seriously, the radio show, um, it's all about you. And I want to make it about news and stuff that I think is important. And I want to make sure that you hear. Um, and I take that approach when I'm on the air every day. I take that approach here on the YouTube show. And that's what really guides me. So thank you, my friends, for being here. So with that, I'll say so long until next time, and may God bless.